Rex in the Morning on AM 1310. This Sunday, May 24th, the National Memorial Day Concert will air live from the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol, hosted, as always, by Tony Award-winning Joe Montagna and Emmy Award winner Gary Sinise. Both longtime champions of veterans and service members, the beloved annual Evening of Remembrance will honor 250 years of the courage and sacrifice of our military men and women, their families, and will pay tribute to all who have given their lives in service to our nation, with musical salutes and powerful stories of patriots who have defended our nation since 1776. A part of the program, and a big important part of it, if I may add that, is joining us via telephone, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General and 43rd Surgeon General of the U.S. Army, Patricia Horoho. She prefers Patty, so welcome, Patty. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
You were at the Pentagon on 9/11. Could you tell us about that?
You know, it's a beautiful sunny day, and, I remember getting in, and then all of a sudden, you felt the building shake, running to the site, the impact site, a huge hole with smoke and airplane debris, people running out of it, terrified, some of them injured at that moment. But I also remembered those that turned around and went back into the building to help others. And so many details of that day that I think, like everybody, are imprinted in our hearts. But what unfolded and what I experienced firsthand is what remains with me, and that's the countless stories of bravery, of courage, of compassion, of resiliency, and how we were going to endure and rise together. It was very, very clear that we were attacked, but also clear that we were going to come through this together and be united.
So at the time that the Pentagon was attacked, you knew what was going on. It wasn't a total surprise.
It's interesting. August before the attack, I was walking through the center of the Pentagon outside, and it was just this calm feeling. And I heard a voice just like you and I talking that said, "You're going to be attacked while you're here." And I thought, okay. And I didn't think anything more about it. And so that day, literally, when we were attacked, I thought, this is it. And I think it was controlled chaos at the impact site, and people just leaning in, trying to save as many lives as possible. There was anger, at being attacked, and you looked at the powerhouse of our country and you saw it wounded. But I have to tell you, you also felt the resolve of our country, and I knew we were going to be okay.
And how about things since then? Have your attitudes changed or adjusted at all?
I am a firm believer in America and our values. On that day, or actually the day after, when the flag was unfurled on the top of the Pentagon, it really solidified for me that it's representation of the ultimate sacrifice of those that protected our freedoms and democracy. And I have never forgot that, and I think our country remains strong. Our country's only 250 years old, and I think we sometimes don't look backwards to see how innovative we've been, how much we have grown, how well we have, come together as a country in the midst of chaos, and how well we have come together when the world needed us. If you look at World War II and all the other wars that have followed since. And so I have tremendous hope and faith in this country, and I believe we will always be a resilient entity that lives up to the values that are inherent in being an American.
I certainly, as most of my listeners will attest to as well, remember everything that happened, and especially when that flag was unfurled that you spoke of at the Pentagon. From that moment on, I really felt like we as a country came together like we had never in many, many years.
I could not agree with you more. And I remember thinking, it's not that we're just going to endure this and get through it. We actually are going to rise up together, and we're going to be stronger. And I think that's exactly what we've what we've seen since 9/11. And, there were many lives that are lost, a lot of heroes that have, emerged from that. And we need to make sure that our recollections of those days don't fade. And I think we owe it to those that have given so much to make sure that we remember, we educate, we inspire, and we stay united as the United States of America.
Indeed, I couldn't agree more. How about those Gold Star families? Have you had a chance to interact with them since that fateful day?
I have interacted with so many, unfortunately, Gold Star families over the years. And military leaders, especially, being part of the Army, our Army leaders would pull in Gold Star families and, one, support them, let them know that, they're never forgotten, their loved ones never forgotten, and then allow their voice to be heard so that we knew how to make things better to support those that have lost loved ones. It's very, very humbling when you know what people have sacrificed for our democracy, our freedoms, and our way of life.
And I certainly share your attitude of I wish we could have that same feeling that we had immediately after 9/11, that it could continue and never fade.
I think this 25th anniversary, I think we have a chance to do something extraordinary. And I think that's coming together, not in tragedy this time, but coming together in remembrance and resolve. And I think that is the opportunity that's in front of us, and we should all take it.
Indeed, I couldn't agree more. And the phrase is used over and over, but it never gets old. Thank you for your service, Patricia.
I had someone once say, and so I'm plagiarizing in this, because I thanked someone for their service, and he looked at me and he said, "You're worth it." And so I'd like to just say that to you. You're worth it.
Thank you. And to our entire audience, we thank you so much for taking time to spend a little of that time with us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the National Memorial Day concert and salute that can be seen on PBS live, and then they'll record it and play it back as well. Again, my guest this morning, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General and 43rd Surgeon General of the U.S. Army, Patricia Horoho. Patty, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you. God bless.